Okay, so first things first, the brushes I use for like line art is like ones with no pen pressure, and usually I prefer the ones with texture. The one I use, I just downloaded it. It's like a custom brush, and I got it from like this Krita forum for artists. And the pixel size that I usually use is like it depends actually. It's like 4 to 7 pixels. Usually I just do 5 pixels because it looks cool and stuff. But for smaller details, or if I just want like thinner line art, then I go for smaller, like 4 or 3 pixels. So I have two sketches: the initial sketch for the pose, the second for the sketch of the character itself. But sometimes I just like only do one sketch, then the next layer is like line art. But that's like for simple stuff like doodles. During the line art stage, I don't really think much of what to do next during like the whole process. If that makes sense. When I'm doing the eye, I'm not going like, oh, maybe I should like do the eyelid next or something. No, it's really just like muscle memory and stuff. Like in all my processes and in all my doodles and like drawings, I guess I always start with the nose, and then what comes next, I don't know. It's up to me. Anyways, so I always do the line art of the head and then the body in like separate layers for the details. Like the face is a different layer, the head is a different layer, the body is a different layer, and all that. So I can easily erase and move the stuff. Just in case I make a mistake in the body or I need to like liquefy a part. And somewhere in the speed paint, I realized that I accidentally drew the head and body on the same layer, so I separated it. Usually when I'm done with a part, or if I think the liner looks a bit kind of weird or something, I hide the sketch layer so I know what the liner actually looks like. And if I don't like it, then I just like fix the liner and that's it. Or sometimes I actually just ignore the sketch if I know like what they do. So for my tips, the obvious tip is try achieving line confidence. To do that, you just, do a traditional drawing and then adding the line art with like a pen or a fine liner pen. So one of the key traits in my line art is the messy double line art type of shit. To achieve that, first you have to tell yourself it's fine to have messy line art, lines just randomly everywhere. Fucking messy, like shit, it's like poking out and shit. You have to tell yourself that's okay because that's how I ended up having the unique line art, I guess. Second is try overlapping the lines, but have the lines slightly out of place. When you're adding in the lines, try adding the second line beside the first line, something like that. And there's some parts that I don't do the double line art on, like the curves and shit. And like I said a while ago, I don't really think of the next step. I guess it's more like I don't double line art stuff where I think it's unnecessary, like the clothing folds. And speaking of those, I only have a very basic surface level understanding of the clothing folds. So usually I just draw random lines and triangles where, I think the folds are necessary.